What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, doing another game from the APAC Battle Academia Cup. Another game. You can see, actually, the player we VOD reviewed last game, Emchi, is in the lobby as well. But from a different POV, this is Kjaos's POV. I think that's how you pronounce his name, because of the J and the... I think it's Kjaos, if I'm wrong. Sorry. But we're watching Kjaos's POV this game. Kjaos was the best performing player across days 1 and 2. Had a pretty rough day 3, but also day 3's checkmate. It's kind of almost a different kind of game. And also Ironbog, who ended up making it out, was, I mean, he just absolutely ran away with it. So, you know, such is life. But Kjaos played a really interesting line in this game, one that I think a lot of people really don't value highly, though the only other time I've seen someone value it highly is actually title. So maybe it's another one of these kind of like APAC techs where, you know, APAC values it a lot higher than the rest of NA, or the rest of the world. But, you know, NA is the world because we're the best region. In any case, first augment here. Hustler, last second save, treasure hunt here. I'm actually quite... my thought is this is an easy treasure hunt game. We started the game here with 4 Sivers, 2 Malphites, 1 Gnar, even 1 Shen as well, though I do think normally the preferred version is the Jhin reroll version of Crew. I think that variant is just so strong. I've reviewed it maybe like a week ago at this point, but I think it's just so nice. So I would be looking at that here. I guess he does see, yeah, Terry here, who has a beautiful opener for it, by the way. Has the Malphite too, which is one of the most important pieces. Has the Jhin pair with the Gnar, and has a Gwynsu's Rage Blade plus, you know, the chain coming out into Malphite items. So maybe that scares us off a bit of playing that. I mean, yeah, if I'm in this spot, I'm like scouting to see, but I think he also saw Achi had a good line into it. So, you know, maybe not going to take treasure hunt here. If he was a braver person than I am, you just rip treasure hunt here and try to scare other people off of it. But there is also a decent chance you just go 8th with that game plan. We're on to Starfall here, which, you know, I think most people do not think of this as a very good hero augment. Like I said, well, we'll get further in. But yeah, he rolls both, and boom, it is just a Starfall game from Rip here. We sell Malphite to move power up, and we're going to take Crimson Veil here for the Omnivamp and the overhealing. So it's a Starfall game. If you guys, here, let me back up to the augment here. If you guys haven't taken this yet, which I wouldn't be shocked if you haven't, because, you know, people do not rate this one very highly. Your strongest Neeko becomes a magic fighter and gains increased AS. Her ability deals more damage and increases radius with every cast. So it's kind of this like scaling casting Neeko where you want to play her cast, and then eventually she blows up the entire board. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's not very popular. I do see actually TFT Academy rates it decently highly, but in my own games, I do not think I've seen somebody play this in quite a long time. It's just one of those ones where, I mean, at 2-1, it does give you a Neeko. I mean, giving you a 3 cost is very nice, and you can see the power in just having a Neeko here on this board, but it's difficult to pull off, I would say. But I think there's a very good reason that Kjaos took this augment in this spot is look at our items here. We have Glove Open, which can be the Hajj straight up slam here onto the Neeko, or it can be a JG, both of which I think are very solid items onto the Neeko. And then we have Chain Open as well, which is really important for another Neeko item, which is very likely to be Edge of Night. So it's kind of interesting. In the past, prior to the kind of rework of how traits, not traits, but classes, the thing where, you know, it's a unit's a tank, a fighter, all this kind of stuff. Before that rework, you would see a lot of people play for like a drain tank in a situation like this. You would build a bunch of healing on Neeko, say she's going to deal a bunch of damage, she's going to take a bunch of aggro, gain a bunch of mana, and she's just going to be the super drain tanky Neeko. No longer is that really possible with the rework. She becomes a fighter when you pick this augment, which means she no longer gains mana from getting hit. She's only gaining mana from auto-attacking. What this means is you can't really play for the super drain tank version of Neeko. You do need some kind of aggro drop, something like an Edge of Night, because, yeah, I mean, she's not receiving any mana from getting hit. Don't you have to take Rod here for item? Maybe he's just going to yoink the Edge of Night here and say, we don't need the Rod. The Edge of Night's so important. It is also on a 3 cost versus a 1 cost. So yeah, it's the pickup here. And maybe his thought is we only really need 1 Rod for, you know, the JG. We'll see here. The stats really like JG onto Neeko. They're like Archangel is a decent bit, which makes sense, right? As you're getting to those later casts, you've scaled up Archangels, and then your Neeko's hitting the entire board, and then you're just like one-tapping everything. So yeah, there's a lot of value in it, but Edge of Night is the first slam here onto this Neeko. Summertimer, turn on the light, please. Is that an admin saying that? Because he's like playing in too dark of a lights for the... I mean, I like that players are forced to stream, though. I think some players, it was a little bit hard to find their VODs. I know like Bintum was a player who a lot of people are like, he didn't have his VODs up, but then someone else posted some kind of link to his VOD somewhere. So maybe we do have... I love the fact that all these players have to stream for these cups, so we get... I mean, as long as people don't delete their VODs, and even if they do, there's some weird, ways to get around it. That is a NAR 3, by the way, from BBTY within IE. IE NAR 3 is kind of interesting. I imagine this was an IE slam looking to play towards something like a Jinx, and then the NAR 3 just came. I mean, I guess it could... I mean, you would almost think this could eventually be NAR 3, or it could eventually be IE for Jhin, and then, they're playing the Jhin reroll setup, but they aren't holding Jhin. They're not holding any of the other stuff. So, interesting enough. We take a 4 loss the rest of this stage after winning the first fight here. I mean, we don't really have anything slammed onto Neeko. I do think she is definitely... Because she is a scaling with time carry, she's also kind of a scaling with stage carry in that, like, in the early game... Especially without a ton of items, this Neeko is just going to get kind of blown up, especially because, once again, she is a fighter. She doesn't get that mana from... She has to auto-attack to get her mana, which is interesting. I would also say items are looking pretty scuffed here. I feel like we're going to have to end up making a Hodge, which is fine, but the rest of the items are quite sus to me. I mean, a Reforge on Sword seems quite reasonable here. We get Chain here, which is still not amazing, but I guess it could be a Sunfire Cape. Yeah, that's the idea. Sunfire Cape, Hodge, JG. I mean, okay, the items actually work out pretty well after this. I do expect this to be a Hodge slam, but we are going to sit... Okay, we are going to make it this fight. Yeah, I mean, I think this makes sense. No reason not to in this spot here. We are just playing around Vertical Protectors. We had the Kog'Maw and then opted to get rid of it. I think the idea just being we are not really that confident that we are going to be able to itemize 6 damage items. If you're 3 damage item Neeko, are you really going to go 3 damage item Kog'Maw as well? Probably not. Heaviest Crown is a funny idea. I don't think it's actually that good because you kind of need the unit that you put it on to be tanky, and Neeko is not really that tanky on her own. So I don't think it's actually this, but it's a funny idea. I mean, a Rating Gold Plus I don't mind too much, just to guarantee that we can actually make it to Neeko 3. And yeah, that is the pickup here from Kjaos. And we're just going to play another Kennen for now. I mean, anytime you're playing Protector reroll, the big thing to hit is the level 7, so you can start reeling with your highest odds. Normally, yeah, I would think it would be the Kog'Maw that you would roll along with this, just to have some kind of extra backline. We'll see. I mean, maybe he says Neeko's enough damage. We just play 6 Protectors, plus, I mean, right now he's playing Syndra as just a Star Guardian on this board, an extra bonus for Neeko. I always have to, when I back up, check, because this kitty likes to stand right behind my chair when I back up, and I don't want to roll over her because she really likes to be right there. But, I mean, you can see the Neeko doing good work here. Have we practiced? Not yet, we haven't. So this is going to be a big ult here. Can she make it long enough for this last ult? Boom! Oh, I mean, actually a perfect loss for a 6 loss. I mean, Kjaos is quite happy about losing that, actually. It's a ton of extra gold in our pocket just for a teeny tiny bit of HP. So we don't mind it, though. I do always feel like, you can loss streak and you can take good losses, but you do have to start winning at some point, or else... you just die. So hopefully we can start doing that sooner rather than later. All right, rotate into Achi here, who does have this probably Golden Edge and R set up here with Calc Loss as well. The idea being just like a super econ spot to maybe even go Fast 9. We'll see where he ends up going with this. Fast 9, decently popular on this patch if you have these kind of crazy econ setups here. And yeah, he did... It looks like he just farmed a little bit of gold there. That was weird, because, I mean, unless he just got Golden Engine, that would be very strange. All right, Rod will be the take-on carousel here to guarantee that JG. I mean, spell crit's so important on a unit like this who all of her damage is coming from her spell. If you don't have that, then, you better be building just straight damage, Edge of Night, Archangels plus, I don't know, Death Cap, something like that. I guess you could get rid of spell crit, but I don't think you really want to. But you can see here now, level 7 with a lot of gold. That is why we took the Raining Gold here and make the JG here. The last thing you'd really want to find in this spot would be your 6 Protector. But for now, we're going to fit the Ahri onto the board. Kind of cute that she fits Sork onto the board as well with Kennen, so that's nice. And we are also 1 off of Kennen 3. He just held onto every single Kennen along the way, and so it's another unit that we can look for here on this roll down. If he does find Malphite 3, then you can do the Tech in Crew thing here. I've talked about this before, but... You basically, if you hit Malphite 3, then you just want to field a crew unit while you roll to guarantee that you get, those extra XP every time you roll. He powers up Janna here, so yeah, it looks like the idea is going to be a Janna duo carry, even though we're only 2 Jannas at this point. Just going to be a little bit hard to, at this point, get to Kog'Maw 3, so this is the idea. It's also just, extra shielding. scales really well with a unit that wants to live a long time, right? So, you want Neeko to survive long enough to get all these big casts off with the... Wait, what is it called now? It's not called Pop Blossom. Pop Blossom was the old name, right? I'm already forgetting. It's like Stars Fall, something like that. Whatever. It's Pop Blossom to me. It'll always be Pop Blossom to me. All right, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, you can see the power of this build at this point. Full pivot into Ashe? Yeah, probably not. I mean, you can... Oh, I wonder if it will be actually Ahri duo carry, and we'll just go for Ahri 3, Neeko 3, and Ahri will be our last extra unit. Yeah, he's kind of... I wonder if Kjaos is kind of figuring this out in real time here, because, like, I mean... Ahri, the extra mana after cast seems quite relevant here. They did also buff this patch, so I could certainly see it being good onto Neeko. I mean, the Cinder bonus seems good as well, but... I mean, you could play 4 Protector, 4 Star Guardian, I guess. I feel like you must play 6 Protector when you're playing around Protectors in general. It's just, I mean, it's so easy to play 6 Protector, it feels like, but we'll see here. We get a red buff, but we don't need it. We already have the Sunfire Cape, so that's a little bit frustrating. We do hit the cannon here, find a Twisted Fate, actually, interestingly enough, so that can sit on the board for a little while here. Though I'm curious to see, I mean, you could make a Gwynsu's, yeah, I think you almost have to in this spot here. And I guess the idea is Void Staff after this to get some MR Shred. Could even be Spark, I guess, onto the cannon. Either way, you probably want to get to some MR Shred here because the board lacks it. I guess you got a little bit coming out of Syndra, but I don't think that's really enough here. But yeah, the Neeko popping all over these guys, doing good work. We're also holding on to the Rise just as a good extra unit. Ooh. I don't actually know. I mean, I imagine like, I think I took like a Seeker's Arm Guard game on Neeko and it didn't feel that good. Though that was, I don't know. I mean, they buffed this augment a little bit, I think, since like PBE, did they? In any case, I don't know. I took it on like PBE and it didn't feel that good. He's going to roll that. And best friends seems pretty awkward. Oh, heroic grab bag. Okay, I guess that puts us back in the spot. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't actually just take Crown's Will here, make the spark, and then take the AP. Because I'm interested to see where this game goes. I'm quite scared in this spot here of taking double econ. But I mean, maybe he thinks of this line as so good that he can actually just win out even just on Neeko 3 plus Kennen 3. I don't know if he's going to look for another 3-star. I mean, we're not really close to much else in terms of 3-star at this point. And yeah, you can see we're going to start taking pretty bad losses until we find Neeko 3 because, I mean, double econ aug in this spot. I mean, you must hit Neeko sooner rather than later here, or you will just die. We do pick up a Seraphine on the way, and we are going to sell the Ahri here. So this is his idea, is that I want to get out of this. He's keeping the Syndra on board for now over the Ahri, just saying I would rather the scaling AP than the extra mana from Ahri. Okay, I mean, to be fair, this Neeko doesn't really have a source of AP outside of this. You know, she's getting a little bit from JG and Hodge, but I mean, it's really not much. So I think he's just saying, you know, I mean, it's kind of like an Archangels, right? Where, you know, you get this scaling AP, and so it makes a lot of sense to keep Cinder in for that Star Guardian bonus. And he thinks, yeah, it's relevant enough that it's worth it. I mean, I would think the Ahri bonus would be good too, but I mean, he values the AP very highly, it seems. All right, because we still have these last couple of shred components open, we do just need to finish one of them. Grabs the Void Staff onto Janna here. Janna an okay holder of Void Staff just because she hits multiple targets with her ability. So I would say good enough here. Though we do really need to roll and find this Neeko sooner rather than later. And yeah, we are going to roll pretty deep here. There's the Neeko if we want it. And yep, that is going to be Neeko 3. And an immediate level here for the Rise, actually, just to say, I'm not going to, you know, sit here on 7 and dig for Janna 3. We are way too far off of that to actually consider that. And the level 8 is pretty big here. It's strategist for the entire board that's shielding, which is so good with protectors because, you know, protector extends it gives you that durability when shielded. And it also just, I mean, it's strategist for, oh, what are you doing, kitty? It's also strategist for Janna, which is, you know, nice, some extra damage onto her, stuff like that. So a lot of good stuff going on. Actually, can you see her back there? She was almost, she might not be in range of that tiny little spot on my camera there. I don't know. If you see a cat running around, then you know where all the noise is coming from, I guess. But all right. The board at this point is essentially online. You can also see, once again, like, we're not thinking of this Neeko as a drain tank. If you guys remember, like, oh, maybe I'll traumatize some people here. Like Dragonmancer Nunu, you know, this like super drain tank. He would take a bunch of damage and then heal basically up to full. That unit, you really wanted him to take aggro. You know, you want him to take aggro so that he would generate mana so that he could cast and just, you know, start killing the entire board. No longer, once again, do you really want that? You don't want the Neeko taking aggro because she gets nothing out of taking aggro here. All she gets is damage on her, which is not good. So you really do want to protect this Neeko as long as possible, allow her to get to the maximum amount of casts. I guess it's Adaptive Helm here. I mean, I guess you can make, yeah, you can make like a Declaw, but then like what, like Warmogs? Redemption? I could be Nashers, I guess. He's looking at just, yeah, I think this is solid enough. Just a good tanked item onto the cannon. I mean, he is a cannon 3 at the end of the day, and once again, the longer cannon lives, the longer that Neeko lives. Extra HP onto him is extra HP for the shield, which is, you know, gonna end up going onto Neeko, so pretty good. Rotate into an Ash board here. That Neeko cast is not gonna Ash. This will, she needs one more cast. Yeah, it needs one more cast to actually get the kill off there, so we're gonna lose. I imagine this is a pretty tough matchup, actually, the Ash matchup, just because we're quite low single target damage, right? We're just hitting the entire board essentially towards the end of the fight. But at that midpoint in the fight, you really need 2 Neeko casts to kill Ash, which is just, it's asking a lot, honestly. Ooh, this is, oh wait, I didn't even realize this is the game that Emchi played. Oh wait, no. This is a different game where he played fully. I didn't realize Emchi was a fully adapted merchant this tournament, because this is a different game from the one we VOD reviewed yesterday, because he definitely did not take quiet quitting in that game. Yeah, and he's actually looking for Garen 3 as well. So Emchi, the fully adapted merchant. I didn't even know that. That's so funny, but he played it. Oh, people said it gave him like 15 points, I think, across the entire weekend. So I guess it makes sense that he played it in a couple of games. So it makes sense. That's hilarious, though. We get another look at the fully adapted tech, which, I mean, 40 HP, very, very strong board. You can see the power of it. All right, rotating to the Rise board. This is one of the matchups where I feel like it'd be pretty good, because like this is a board where each unit that you kill actually matters a lot, though Neeko is in a really awkward spot. Yeah, I mean, she didn't end up actually AoEing the last couple of units there, so pretty rough. We dropped to the Rise. Also did not see if that was I don't think it was the Freezy Pop Rise where he freezes himself and then freezes you, but if it was, that would be really, really annoying for us, just because, you know, the freeze onto, oh, it is actually Icebender Rise, yeah, that must be really, really annoying for Neeko, just because she is losing all of that attack speed when we fight. All right, with Cassante too, the second we hit that, items come off of cannon. 2-star 4 cost is better than 3-star 1 cost, so, and also, I think Cassante is just kind of a broken unit. We are, at this point, also playing the Seraphine here just for better Star Guardian bonuses to our board. And I mean, she's also a unit. She can do a little bit of damage all on our lonesome here. Rotate into, this is Terry, who ended up, I mean, it's not really, yeah, it's just like the Jhin board capping out with a Varus. And I mean, it's enough for a top 4, though we do kind of clear that board. That's a board that I think our matchup does make up a lot of sense into, just because it's like a few, you know, carries. It's the Varus and the Jhin carry, and I didn't feel like he had like a super tank frontline, which is what you're afraid of. Super tank frontline is the hardest thing for this board to deal with, I would say. You want like a lot of slightly tanky units that you can just kill all at once. Rotating to Emchi here, who has still not hit his Garen 3. This Yuumi board seems pretty scary, but we'll see. One more cast from Neeko should clear it. Oh my god, that was 20k damage from Neeko, it looks like. This board is actually so satisfying, and now that we've hit level 9, we've actually capped very well. So I mean, good call from Kjaos on the double econ augment spot to say, you know what, I'm as long as I hit, I am going to be very strong. The power spike of going to like level 8 and to level 9, getting into the Rise, getting into the Seraphine is actually huge. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to take this double econ setup here. And now we're gonna roll down here, try to pick up Rise to Seraphine 2, pick up, I guess, Archangels, really? Gunblade? I feel like it must be Archangels, right? Yeah. And then we're going to, I mean, Archangels are so good on units like Janna here. Probably the Nashers just go somewhere else, right? And we keep Void Staff on Janna because she hits multiple units. Yep, throw that onto Rise here. I think this makes sense. All right, rotate into this guy. We have gotten a good bit stronger since we fought them last. It doesn't look like they've gotten a lot stronger, so I would expect us to win this here. And the Neeko keeps walking away from the backline, man, but it should be fine. Yeah, another Pop Blossom, blow it up the whole board. Emchi drops here, so it's just us and Summer Timer here. The current world champion, right? That's so we'll see if we can defeat him here. This is that Rise board, though. This is a different Rise board, right? This is another Rise board. This is the one with the Freezy Pop on the Rise, which very annoying. Pops our Edge of Night pretty quickly, though. Oh my god, that's a good Senna cast. But she keeps walking back to the front line that gets pulled back here. This is so annoying, though. This cast, oh, if she could get that cast off, we would have won. It was actually so close. I actually feel like in our spot here, our front line isn't holding long enough. We find I mean, surely it's better, right, to put items on Seraphine 3. I know people don't like this unit that much, but like, come on. And he does move items over, power up here. I like something like, oh, really? I think I was gonna take Power Font here, just to guarantee that she gets the casts off. And yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense here. He's trying to just burst through the left side here. I mean, pretty good for us, though. He does end up pulling the Neeko to the right here. Summertimer put in a positioning masterclass. The only downside is that this does mean Seraphine gets a big cast, and then the second cast is huge. Oh, that's actually straight up a Seraphine buff diff. Remember when they changed Seraphine so that if she dies in the middle of her cast, she throws her cast out, and it does like damage based on how long she channeled? That actually, like, if we did not have that buff, we would have lost that fight, which is crazy. Rise item here, I guess, just random like red buff or something. He's gonna take Spark here. Oh, actually, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Just to guarantee the MR shred, just because there are spots where Seraphine will not have casted. I mean, Seraphine will not have casted usually by the first Neeko cast, so getting the MR shred early makes sense. I guess you do just throw this onto Kennen and leave the pure tank items onto Kjaos here. Just a little scary to, like, you know, Kennen is pretty vulnerable here. He might just straight up die. It's also kind of surprising we're still this clumped. Just having the Kennen next to Neeko means she's going to get AoE'd by the Rise. And this fight, oh, it looks pretty raw. I don't think Neeko will get another cast off. Yeah, it is just a top 2. But, I mean, losing to Summertimer doesn't feel too bad. I mean, just a really cool game showing off the power of Pop Blossom and just the power of... I mean, even double econ augment, I thought was such a cool idea in this spot. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch and Meta file, my links down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always. Also, somebody did suggest a Pop Blossom game in my, it was a box Pop Blossom game, it looks like. But, I mean, I VOD reviewed Pop Blossom. But, once again, if you have any VODs that you are interested in me VOD reviewing, throw the link in my VOD review suggestions channel, my Discord, and I'll probably, I mean, good odds I'll review them. All right, see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.